Say my name, no one is around you. Say, baby, I love you. Hi, I'm Ayobola Adebowale, your baby's doctor. And in this video was a video I promised in the last video. So I said I was going to talk about nasal discharge, how to manage nasal discharge, basically focusing on how to steam a child. As a bonus, I'm going to also give you the recipe of how to make saline drops at home in case you don't get to buy at the pharmacy. So that is what this video is about. Thank you for joining me. If you're just joining me for the very first time, it is always nice to have new people here. Thank you for joining me. Please subscribe to my channel. I promise that this is a channel where you get reliable information about your child's health and well-being. Thank you so much for joining me. Get your bowls, get your towels, and we'll get to it. So if you remember my last video, or should I say if you watched my last video, you remember that I said something about viral infections running its course, spending the number of days it wants to spend, and then going. And I also mentioned that nasal discharge is a very common symptom when a child has a viral infection. And if you remember again, I said that viral infections are usually managed symptomatically or supportively. So you basically manage each of the symptoms and wait for the viral infection to die down. So one of the major symptoms of a viral infection is nasal discharge. Oh my goodness, your children would have nasal discharge whether you like it or not. Once they start going to school, it's like a signature. In fact, the week they resume school, by the next week you already have nasal discharge everywhere. And you know how children are. Some of them will lick it and all. I don't know, it's quite salty, maybe sweet. Anyway, so this video, like I said, is going to just talk briefly about things you should do when your child has nasal discharge, and of course teach you how to steam a child, and of course again as a bonus teach you how to make saline solutions at home. So your child has nasal discharge. It is established, the nose is running, the nose is congested, looks like the child cannot really breathe through the nose. So what are the things you should do? The first thing you should do is check if there's actually any discharge in the nose. If there's a discharge, you can see the discharge, you should try to clear that discharge. The best way to do this is to have a suction, bulb suction. Okay, so that's a picture of a bulb suction. You should have that handy as a parent. Of course, you know, I come from Nigeria, where back in the days, mothers will actually use their mouths to suck to suck out the discharge from the baby's nose. I'm not sure I can do that. I'm not sure I don't know if you can do that, but I cannot do that. I don't think I can do that. So yeah, there are suction tubes. There are different types, easy to use. They are online. You can get them, and then of course you use this to clean your baby's nose, to remove whatever nasal discharge that is there, that is stopping your child from getting air into the airway. So that's the first thing to do. Another thing to do is to get a humidifier. Okay, so that's a picture of a humidifier. Very easy to use. Depending on the type you want to buy, could be affordable and very, very easy to use. That will also help to relieve the symptoms of the nasal discharge. Now the third one, which is cheap, easy to do, you can do it at home, you know, yes, that is the steam inhalation that you can do for your children. Now there are a lot of ways by which you shouldn't steam your child, like this, and definitely like this. Don't do any of those three. Now I'm going to teach you how to steam a child. For you to steam a child, you need some things. You need a bowl, of course. You need hot water, steaming hot water, like very hot water. And this is why those methods that I mentioned above, that I showed you, are not actually good, because hot water is very dangerous. And you have to be very careful when handling hot water with children, especially toddlers. So please, you have to be very careful. Keep the hot water at a distance away from your child. Then you need a face towel, something like this. I have this here, so this is what I'm going to use. So you need a face towel like that. And now the fourth item that you need for this, or that you may need for this, is menthol containing substance. Okay, so in Nigeria, rub mentholatum and all that. But please you have to know that some children do not tolerate menthol. So children with GCPD deficient, and even some other male children could have jaundice and passage of dark colored urine when they are exposed to menthol. So please, you have to be very careful. You can actually steam your child without using menthol, but if you have to use menthol containing substances, please use the milder ones. And I personally do not advise eucalyptus oil. While of course eucalyptus oil is quite effective, however, a lot of children would react to eucalyptus oil. It can actually trigger allergic reaction. It can make the nasal discharge worse, and in serious cases can cause asthmatic reaction in children. So please, I personally do not advise the use of eucalyptus oil in children. I don't advise you to put it in their nose. I don't advise you to put it in their water. I don't advise you to put it in their front tunnel. So that is it. Alright, so to steam a child, so you get a bowl of hot water. You pour the hot water in the bowl. Okay, I just said that. Anyway, you pour the hot water in the bowl and keep it at a distance. So you get your face towel. So I'm using this. So you put the tip of the face towel. So if you're going to use any of those mild menthol containing substances, you just put it at the tip like this. You dip it inside the hot water, squeeze it. Just hold your baby normally. Don't force the child, because the moment you start forcing the child, that's when they start fighting you. So just hold the child normally and put it close to the nose. Allow the baby breathe. Please, I didn't say on the nose. I didn't say on the chest. I didn't say on the face. I said close to the nose, so that the steam will be coming out and your baby will breathe it in. That is just how simple it is. You can use it without menthol containing substances. You can use menthol containing substances. But in children, especially newborn, I would advise that you use just plain hot steaming water. And remember, please keep the hot water away from the child. So that means the hot water is like on a far table, away from where you're seated with the child. You put it in the hot water, squeeze it, put it close to the nose, allow the baby breathe it in. It's that simple. It's that simple, and it's not so stressful. So you can do that 4 to 5 times a day, and you can also do that when the child wants to sleep, so the child can have a sound sleep. So that is how to steam a child. It's quite easy. I mean, I shouldn't make a fuss out of it. You know, I can actually make a fuss out of it. All right. Then, of course, like I said, the next option would be to put saline drops. Now, the idea of saline drops is that it helps to relieve nasal congestion. So your child has nasal congestion, you can hear your child breathing. Sorry, I also always have catarrh. I have allergic reactions, okay? So I think that's why I'm used to most of these things, all right? So your child's nose is blocked. No nasal discharge, you've checked, there is no discharge, it's just blocked. You can hear that very difficult breathing. So what do you want to do in this case? So you just get nasal drops that contain saline solution, and then you drop it in each nostril. It comes in drops and in sprays, so you can get them at your local pharmacy. They're actually very much available. However, if you want to make it at home, it's also quite easy. You just take 1 part salt, 10 parts water. So if you're taking a spoon of salt, you're taking 10 spoons of water, warm water, and then you mix it together. When it dissolves, you pour it inside the bottle with a dropper, and then you can drop it in your baby's nose. You can do that like 3 or 4 times in a day, or anytime you feel like the nose is congested and you want to open up the airway. It is that simple. 1 part salt, 10 parts water, and you're good to go with your saline solution. So that is how to do a saline solution. But it's also available at pharmacies. You can check pharmacies. I'm sure you'll be able to get nasal sprays with saline solution in them. So that is it. The video is very simple. I've taught you a lot of things today. I think I should start charging you for teaching you most of these things. Okay, and very, very important, when the child has nasal discharge, you have to hydrate that child. So the child has to take a lot of water, a lot of fluid. So preferably warm water, warm fluid. Okay, you can give your child warm tea and all that. Those ones can also help to relieve nasal discharge. And of course, once your child is very much hydrated, it helps also with nasal discharge, helps it come out, and then of course you can suck it and make the child more comfortable. So that is basically how to manage nasal discharge or catarrh or nasal congestion at home. It is that easy, and I hope that you have learned something today. So that's it for today. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. It's just below this video. Just click the subscribe button and it is done. It only takes you about 5-10 seconds to get that done. If you find this video very, very useful, please feel free to share Share to grandmothers everywhere. Let them know what to do when a child has nasal discharge and how not to steam a child. You know how they used to steam us in the days? They'll put the hot water, they'll put menthol in the hot water, they'll put it down, they'll put you beside the hot water, and then they'll cover you blankie and hold you down. And then you'll be screaming because you're dying of suffocation, but nobody cares. They just want that nose, they just want your nose to get, opened up. And of course, we understand that it was love, but at least now I think we know better. Remember, just put it close to the nose, allow the baby breathe it in, and you can do that 4 to 5 times in a day. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you soon. Bye.